I'm Joe Catalano with an AM Quincy news update for Thursday, April 24th. A busy section of Hancock Street in Quincy will be repaved over the next 4 days. The Quincy DPW says repaving will begin today along Hancock Street between Furnace Brook Parkway and Fenno Street. The work will take place from 5 a.m. to 3 p.m. today and tomorrow, and 5 a.m. to noon on Saturday and Sunday. Traffic will be detoured to Newport Avenue via Beale Street from the north and via Furnace Brook Parkway from the south. Motorists are asked to avoid the area if possible. Officials say they're doing the work during school vacation week to minimize the impacts on the Central Middle School. A ceremony will be held today in Quincy to mark Vietnam Veterans Day. Quincy Veterans Services says the ceremony will be held at 1 p.m. at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Clock Tower at Marina Bay. Retired U.S. Navy Captain Fred Purrington from Dartmouth, a former POW, will deliver the keynote address. Purrington was a POW in North Vietnam for 7 years after being shot down in 1966. The public is invited to attend. National Vietnam Veterans Day is observed on March 29th. Community Development Week events continue in Quincy today with 2 events at the Four River Clubhouse on Nevada Road in Quincy Point. From noon to 3:15, a public service summit will be held featuring many of the social service agencies in Quincy, gathering to share information and ideas. And then at 4 p.m., Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch and Congressman Stephen Lynch will hold a celebration marking major improvements that have been made to the 100-year-old clubhouse using federal grants. The public is invited to attend today's events. The Adams National Historical Park in Quincy continues to recognize National Park Week this week. Today, a program called Putting Quill Pen to Paper will be held from noon to 3 at the National Park's Visitor Center in Quincy Center. John and Abigail Adams famously wrote many letters to each other during the American Revolution. Participants will be able to try their hand at using the writing instrument used by the Adamses, a quill pen. The Visitor Center is located at 1250 Hancock Street in Quincy Center. The historic homes are expected to open for the season on May 14th. The Quincy Climate Action Network is holding a workshop tonight at the Thomas Crane Library in Quincy Center to mark Earth Day. The event will explore practical ways to reduce emissions, improve energy efficiency, and support sustainable practices in your home and community. The En-ROADS Climate Simulator will demonstrate how different climate solutions shape the future. The event runs tonight from 7 to 8:30 in the community meeting room. You can register at qcan.org. Boston Archbishop Richard Henning led a mass paying tribute to the late Pope Francis ahead of his flight to Rome for Saturday's funeral. The Mass at St. Teresa's Parish in West Roxbury last night was the first of 3 masses announced by the Boston Archdiocese in the wake of the Argentinian pontiff's death. Clergy and community members said they feel connected to the 88-year-old and what he stood for. Francis is being remembered for championing the causes of the less fortunate and adopting a more progressive tone for Catholics around the world. Henning said he's traveling to Rome partly because he wants to bring the people of Boston with him. Tens of thousands of people are expected to pass through St. Peter's Basilica in the coming days to pay their final respects. The second Mass, held by the Boston Archdiocese, is scheduled for tonight at 7 p.m. at the Immaculate Conception Parish in Lowell. The third one will begin tomorrow night at 7 at St. James Church in Stoughton. The funeral for Pope Francis has been set for Saturday at 10 a.m. in St. Peter's Square. It will be attended by world leaders, including President Trump and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. Well, if the MBTA overseers want to make more bus routes fare-free, The best approach would be to eliminate rider costs across the entire bus network rather than in a handful of locations, according to T officials. Top MBTA staff wrote in a report to lawmakers this week that short-term, route-specific pilot programs running certain buses without fares are unsustainable and not recommended. Instead, they say making the full bus system fare-free has potential to provide several material benefits, including better accessibility and higher ridership, as long as the agency can secure a dedicated funding stream to cover the tens of millions of dollars annually that such a landmark shift would cost. The report, filed with the legislature, features a new cost estimate for eliminating MBTA bus fares that's a bit lower than prior projections. Based on the latest ridership data, T officials now expect fare-free buses would cost between $72 million and $121 million per year, plus up to $9 million in additional vehicle capital costs. Under the Americans with Disabilities Act, the T would be required to offer paratransit service free of charge to riders if it made the bus network free. Officials expect running the ride without fares would lead to a surge in demand. The T already has a few fare-free bus options in place. Lawmakers and Governor Healy used the fiscal year 2025 state budget to fund fare-free service at the 15 regional transit authorities across Massachusetts, leading to a significant growth in ridership. Healy and the House are moving in the upcoming budget process to boost state support for the T significantly, although neither plan envisions money specifically to cover fare-free buses. A check of business news this morning, and stocks bounced back yesterday. The Dow was up 419 points. The Nasdaq rose 407, and the S&P is up 88. Asian stocks are mixed as worries crept back following a Wall Street rally that came after President Trump appeared to back off his criticism of the Federal Reserve and his tough talk in his trade war. The dollar was down, the euro rose, oil at $62 a barrel. In sports, Celtics beat the Magic 109-100, taking a 2-0 lead in the first round of the NBA Finals. Game 3 moves to Orlando tomorrow night at 7. Seattle beat the Red Sox 8-5 at Fenway. That series continues at 1:35 this afternoon. Forecast from the National Weather Service. Sunny and mild today, highs in the mid-70s. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 47. Tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds, high 76. Some rain moving in on Saturday afternoon, the high of 66. Sunday, mainly cloudy, and a high 62. For the boater today, waves 1 to 2 feet, winds northeast at 5, become southeast 10 to 15 knots. Later today, a high tide 8:53 a.m. Sunrise 5:48, sets at 7:35. I'm Joe Catalano with an AM Quincy news update for Thursday, April 24th.